So we will work around the vision that we have. Obviously, there are a lot of tents. We're just trying to provide as much shade for these athletes in these final stages of the late afternoon. Obviously, the temperature does get a little bit higher, so any shade and shelter we can provide them as some protection. That is our primary source here. So viewing is most definitely secondary. But our most important and primary requirement is to provide shade and shelter for our athletes and our officials. So we'll introduce the field to you now. From lane 1, we have Hassas from Knox. In lane 2, we have Sam from Essendon. In lane 3, we have Micah from Yarra Rangers. In lane 4, we have Patrick from Craigieburn. In lane 5, we have Marshall from Washington. So athletes now on the start line. We'll allow the race to go underway, and then we'll explain for those watching a little bit more about the multi-class athletes at Little Athletics Victoria. So clean start away. We have Hassas in lane 1. Hassas has a classification in multi-class for a T01. Hassas is deaf, and he does require hand signals at the commencement of each race. He's a great little runner, and as you can see, moving out around the back straight at the moment. Good lead at the moment. The athletes will remain in their lanes for the entirety of this race in a 400 metres. Sam from Essendon is a T38, so he does have a physical impairment, which may prevent him from being able to fully execute his body actions. In lane 3, we have Micah from Yarra Rangers, who's also T38. He's in part of the 9s to 10 classification for multi-class. We have Patrick, who is a T21 from Craigieburn, and Marshall from Washington, who is Marshall Washington from Ringwood, who is a T20. Now, T20 and 21s are different classifications in the impairment field. And it's Hassas running very, very well at the moment. So that intellectual impairment for Patrick and Marshall can vary, but they'll be calculated based on their performances. So their performance will get a time at the end, as will Hassas as he comes across the line. Keeping an eye on the clock as he does come across the line, we'll be able to give you a time for him. He comes across in a 1:18.25. So a great time there for Hassas. His time now will be calculated against his classification percentage, and you'll get a final result which will determine his place against Sam from Essendon, who's just coming into the finishing gauge now for his 400 metres. It is a long way, so if you are in the stadium today, we do encourage you to clap our multi-class athletes. It's a long way around the track, and they really deserve your applause. A great race at the moment now between Micah and Marshall coming into the finish line. So Marshall comes across the finish line. Micah not too far behind him. They've even got the energy to run off into the cooling tent. And not too far away now, we have Patrick from Craigieburn doing a great job out there. Around about 20 metres to go. And a great run there by Patrick.